I'm looking at these peppers again today because there's one or two things that people do as the peppers are growing that may be necessary, but it also may not. Whether you should top your peppers. There's nothing wrong with topping peppers, but it's better done on certain types of plants and not on others. And I'll explain what the difference is. As you know, we've got some peppers already growing. These are bell peppers, so they produce quite big fruits. And some of your plants that you get, your chili peppers, your hot peppers, they produce a lot smaller fruits, but you get quite a few of them. And as far as I know, that's the difference on whether you should top peppers or you shouldn't. If you top your peppers, what it's going to do is force extra growth from another part of your plant. If you look at this plant and you look round about there, if you take the top off this pepper, a shoot will appear from there in between that main stem and this leaf, and so on as you go up. So your pepper stops growing upwards. It won't stop altogether, it will carry on just at a slower rate, but then all the energy goes into producing new side shoots to keep that plant going. So you end up with a much bushier, stockier plant. And I don't think that works very well when you're trying to grow big bell peppers, because ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to get probably more fruits on that plant, but they're going to be smaller because it's a shorter, stockier plant. You'll get more branches, you'll get more flowers by topping your peppers, but ultimately fruits are going to be a lot smaller. So if you're growing things like bell peppers, I don't think it's feasible, because I'd rather have 4 quite big bell peppers on a plant than 8 small ones. So things like sweet bell peppers, I'll leave them alone. This one is a long sweet bell pepper, so it's still quite a big fruit. So once again, I wouldn't bother with that. But when it comes to things like hot chili peppers, those fruits are only quite small anyway. So if you top those plants, it's going to create more branches, more flowers, and a lot more fruit. But at the same time, if you've got a perfectly healthy plant, I wouldn't top them anyway. Sometimes when you're growing your plants at this time of year, they end up being leggy. So unlike this one that's been under lights, they could be twice as tall as that. So a very weak, spindly plant, which is not a very good plant at all. But if you take the tops off, but not just the tops, you can go down a couple. So maybe remove all that and just leave this bottom bit. Then that plant will slowly carry on growing. It will put out more side shoots as before. But all your peppers have a Y at the top of that stem. If you look at your peppers, that's how they always grow. You have your main stem, it then becomes a Y shape. So if you've got a really tall plant, that Y shape is going to come at an higher level, making it a more unstable plant. So by topping a plant like that, it will then force that plant to create that Y at a lower level than it would have done previously. So a more stable, stockier plant that's going to then produce extra branches, extra flowers to make more fruit. And because the fruit is a small fruit, in that case, it doesn't make any difference. Just in conclusion to topping peppers, if you've got really tall peppers, leggy peppers, it won't hurt to just pinch those tops off. But if your peppers are nice and stocky and they're going to produce bigger fruits, then I would say don't top them, just leave them to grow naturally. That's my opinion on topping peppers. Ultimately, the choice is entirely up to you. None of my plants are leggy, so I don't need to top any. But I have noticed in the past, especially when you grow things like jalapenos, they can sometimes get quite tall. So in that case, because that plant has got tall, it's going to produce small fruits anyway, I will top it. And at some point, we'll move on and I'll top one. By then the weather's going to be a lot warmer and a lot brighter, and hopefully we'll be able to keep them outside permanently. And then what we'll do is we'll take one of these plants that's probably going to be twice size by then, and we'll top one, and then we'll follow the progress of that as it starts to produce new shoots and become a bushier, stockier plant. But that's all for this video, and thank you so much for the donations that were received over the last couple of days. I'm going to put it down there on screen and say thank you so much for your generosity. That really does help us out while we're making these videos all the way through growing season. Very generous of you and very much appreciated. And if you want to see what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.